All right, for our lower key Friday practice, I love to start on our back. So we're kind of at the end of our week, rolling into the weekend. All right, welcome to those joining online as well. Great to see you on the class roster, Valerie, even if it's virtual. We're going to start on our back. So for those of you at home, if you have access to blocks and a blanket, you'll want to grab those. Otherwise, we'll have some ways to modify if you don't have access to those props. No worries. So lie back, relax, stretch out, move around a little bit if that feels more inviting. Take a few deep breaths. Just take this opportunity to connect to the here and the now, and that which is right here surrounding you, that which is at your immediate disposal, so to speak, for tools, resources for this practice. And we know that we always have our breath available, even if we have no yoga mat, no space, no props, you always have your breath. You always have your body. So just connect, tune into that. Take quite a few deep breaths, just really working to elongate both the inhale and the exhale if possible. So I attended a seminar on Monday, an all-day seminar on stress and anxiety and anger management, and quite fitting for what I was receptive for, that's for sure. But he spoke about the breath, and he was actually describing how you can help to calm someone you're near or with by utilizing the breath, by utilizing breathing, by mirroring techniques. But the way he described it was holding a baby who is upset, how you can begin to match the breath and then begin to slow and deepen your own breathing. So we're going to do a little work with that matching of the breath today. When you're ready, just begin to enliven your legs. Start to swim your feet around. So just flexing the feet up, toes toward the ceiling, pointing your toes out, circling the feet around, feeling your calves making good contact with the floor beneath you. And then just bring the legs in very close to midline so that your ankles are close to one another, your knees, your thighs, everything's kind of hugging in the midline. You're going to leave your left leg on the ground and just bring the right knee in toward your chest. Now, as you pull the knee toward your chest, you might have to adjust your hips just a little bit to find a more comfortable contact of your back and the back of your hips against your mat. Even feel the positioning of the back of your head here as well. Take a deep inhale, exhale it out. And then just ease up on that compression. You're going to take the interlaced grip of your hands to the back of your thigh. Extend your right leg straight up toward the ceiling. Press up high through the sole of your right foot and press out long through the sole of your left foot. Take a deep breath here. Now rebend your right knee. Hug it back toward your chest once again. Give it a good strong squeeze, but slide it over farther to the right so that you come to the outside of your right rib cage. And then just pay a little closer attention to the front side of your left hip and thigh. Take a deep breath here. Ease up on that compression. You're going to pass your right knee into your left hand, and you're going to start to roll into a spinal twist. Lay the backside of your upper left arm against the floor, a little bend to your elbow. Stretch your right arm out and away, or create a cactus position through that right arm, roll into it, breathe into it, turn into it. And then as you settle in, slow your breathing down. It will be a bit more shallow. Deepen the stretch. Every exhale that you let go of. Now come back to center. Stretch your right leg out slowly next to your left. Reposition your hips, your legs, your torso. Give a little wiggle adjustment back to midline. And a deep breath here. Savor that oh so simple process of just breathing in and out. And then feel the length of your right leg staying put on the floor. Hug the left knee back. Take those little adjustments to pull the knee in nice and close toward the left side of your chest. Take a deep belly breath. And then take your left leg high. Interlace your grip to the back of your left thigh. Flex the toes lightly down toward the nose. Press up through the sole of your left foot. Press out through the sole of your right foot. Take another breath here. And then rebend your knee. You're going to hug it back toward the chest, but this time we're bringing it as far over to the left as we can so that we have a little more spaciousness through our torso to breathe deeply. And then you're just going to ease up on that compression, kind of stir your knee across into your opposite hand as you bring it over into your spinal twist. The left arm might lift up, it might reach up overhead, come away from the floor, turn into it, roll into it. And then connect with your breathing. You're going to deepen the stretch every exhale that you let go of. Envision that you could let go of a little muscular tension as well, but holding on to that integrity, that awareness through the very center of your body. Focus on the steadiness of your breathing. Not necessarily the depth, it definitely will be more shallow within a twist. And then come back, bring it on back. Stretch slowly your left leg all the way out long. Perhaps send both arms up alongside your ears for a full body stretch from fingertips to toes. Point, flex your feet, any feel-good movement that you want to incorporate here. And then before we come up from our back, let's lay our arms at our sides once again, bend the knees, take the soles of your feet onto your mat, and then just slowly peel your hips up off of your mat toward a bridge lift. And then you can roll the hips right back down again. And then do that again. Activate your feet, kind of peel the hips up and away, and then roll them back down. And then just one more time. Lift your hips up high but sustainable, no strain through the lumbar spine. Wiggle your toes, finding strength and ease both through your feet simultaneously. And then bring your hips back down to the earth. Work your feet in just a little closer. Take your right leg high, cross the right ankle over top of your left thigh. A quick figure 4 hip opening stretch. So just bringing a little bit more full range of motion, little more warmth into the hip joints before we move into any kind of weight bearing position. Now, if this is inviting to you, you might actually incorporate a little side to side rocking action, kind of a soothing for the nervous system, but you'll know right away if this is nothing close to soothing for your nervous system, just skip over it, just disregard it. Breathe, breathe, broaden your chest as you do so. And then come back to center. Lower your left foot back down. Stretch your right leg high just for a moment. Take a turn of your ankle around in each direction, and then set your right foot back down onto your mat. Raise the left leg up high, cross the ankle, figure 4 on your second side. Bring everything in. Broaden your chest, relax the weight of your head, shoulders, and your backside down onto your mat. Breathe. Wobble if you want to. Sigh your breath out anytime you need to today. And then come back to center. Bring the sole of your right foot down. Stretch the left foot up high. Take a turn of the ankle in each direction. And then both knees toward your chest, hands to the hamstrings. We're going to rock and roll a time or two to come all the way up to a seat. And then we're going to come right into a supported boat pose. So today we're actually going to take our hands back behind us. And you kind of have to walk your hands to find just the right distance for you, that you can kind of bend your elbows. And you can play with this ability to reclining back and kind of coming upright again. And then you're going to find a sweet spot kind of halfway between those two positions, and that same sweet spot where you can hover your feet away from the floor. Now, palm the floor, spread your hands wide. You're going to lean back as much as you need to. You're going to stretch the legs out. Just experiment with this. Kind of push forward through the feet, pull them back in, press them forward, pull them in. Good. One more time. Extend your legs out to the degree that you want to. Bend your elbows just a little bit more if you need as well. Good. Now, bend your knees, take your heels down, soles of the feet down, and then come all the way up. Wrap your arms kind of over your legs, separate the knees if you need to, and just kind of hug against your thighs. All right, hands to your shins, sit upright once again, work your feet in. More traditional approach into our Navasana boat pose. Feet raised up, lean back, push forward through the feet as much as you need. Take your hands out and away if you'd like, or keep hold to your thighs. Good. Lift and broaden your chest. The cliche statement of lifting the corners of your mouth as well, if possible. Breathe. Cross-legged seat. Cross your ankles. Take your hands into heart. Take one deep breath all the way in, all the way out. Hands and knees, tabletop from there. Move right into your table, and right away, start to decompress your legs, and let this be kind of informal, kind of casual. Just follow your folly, so to speak. Just wiggle the length of your spine out, shift, sway, take some barrel rolls, just move with some freedom to nourish your joints. After boat pose, sometimes the hip flexors can feel a bit tender, a bit sore, a little worked, so you can always create a little more length there. And then once you've had a chance to wiggle your way through table, we're going to wiggle it on up into downward facing dog. Good. And this particular position gives us so much feedback. It tells us so much about the state of our body, sometimes the state of our breathing. So I want you to kind of gather that feedback, be an active listener, so to speak. So as you get that feedback, as you have that conversation with your body, you're adjusting, you're shifting, you're moving a little bit in participation in the conversation to let your body know that you hear it. I hear you. What you're feeling is valid. Validating the feelings of your body for just a few breaths here in downward dog. All right, and then take your time to walk and work your feet forward on your mat. Bring your feet up toward your hands, and then you'll bring your hands up to the top of your shins this first round. Chest lifts a little higher than the hips. Take a breath in, bend your knees, and then kind of fall forward again into your fold. A very gentle nod and shake of your head here in your Uttanasana, your forward fold. A little roll of your shoulders, if that feels good as well. and then a roll of your whole body to rise up to a stand when you're ready to do so. At the top of that motion, draw the shoulders back, lift your arms skyward, take a deep, deep breath in, and then go wide with your arms slowly out and down. Just relax your hands down near your hips. Lift up through the crown of your head. Close your eyes for just a few moments to really feel the foundation. Down through your feet. Shift your body weight a little bit into your feet. Take a few more breaths. Energetically drip down through your fingertips. And then open your eyes as though you could actually kind of feel the air in your hands. I want you to take a breath and kind of scoop that air up and overhead. And then draw your palms together right down through midline. Relax your hands heavy at your sides. And again, kind of scoop that air up, up, up overhead. Breathe in and then draw it down through midline. Good. One more time. Deep inhale, reach up. And exhale, hands to heart. Take a glance down toward your feet. Work your feet in close. Settle your hands down near your sides. Take a scoot of your hips back and stretch your hands overhead. Utkatasana, chair pose. Now, as we rise to a stand, I want you to reach straight up overhead, stand tall, and then drift your hands down low. Exhale. Now, scoop that air up, sit the hips back, chair pose. Inhale, rise with a breath out, and drift your arms out wide. Just once more like that. Really sit back, sweep forward, and then stand up and release your hands down low. Okay, side body stretch. We'll take our left arm up and alongside the ear. You're gonna reach your right hand down alongside the thigh, lift up, come all the way back to center and drift your left arm down, down, down near your side. Take a clearing breath between sides. And then go up and overhead, right arm high alongside the ear, lean in that direction, slide your hand down the thigh, breathe, breathe, breathe. And then you're gonna go out and down through the right arm, just drift it down low. Good, close your eyes, take a deep inhale. Exhale it out. Open your eyes, settle down into chair pose once again. Good, one more inhale. And then as you exhale, dive forward, come into Uttanasana, forward fold. Just as you did in downward dog. Take a little time to gather some feedback from your body and then be an active listener. So participate in this and just take a little bit of movement that feels good. And if you've got blocks and they're available and they're handy, you can always grab those as well. If your body's saying, hey, the floor is far too far away, help me out here. All right, little bend to your knees so that you can set your hands to the top of your mat. And we're gonna step back into downward facing dog once again. Just kind of press the feet back, lift your hips up high, walk your feet and legs out a little bit. And then glance back toward your toes. Set your feet in just a little closer to one another. And we're gonna begin with a lift of our right leg up and back in our downward dog. And you might get a little louder conversation from your downward dog by doing this. Relax your jaw, keep breathing, keep lengthening, stay an active participant. And then step your right foot forward for warrior one. Anchor and angle that back foot down and back toward the floor. Raise your hands high. Breathe big as you settle into this shape. Good, take one more breath in, lifting upright. And then as you exhale, you're gonna hinge your torso about halfway forward. And then just relax your hands down. And you're actually gonna kind of shake your hands a little bit here. Just like kind of shaking off some kind of debris that followed you along into your practice. And then start to stretch your hands back and out wide away from your hips. Now keep on breathing. Keep this energy stretching out across the chest. Keep that energy in your back foot. And And then we're gonna move on down. Left hand comes down to your mat or a block. You're gonna come onto the ball of your left foot, scoot your left foot back a little longer on your mat. Right hand goes high to the sky. I was joking with the class on Tuesday that this was actually Ashton's first yoga pose somehow that he did. Take another inhale, release your hand down as you exhale, half splits. Left knee comes down, straighten your front leg, grab those blocks to put under your hands if you want to have both of them or one of them. Nice. Good. Breathe, breathe, breathe. One more breath here. And then you're going to shift back toward that low lunge, but we're going to tuck our back toes, lift the back knee, and you're going to take a little travel of your hands over to the left side of your mat so that you can turn into wide leg stretch. Now, stopping here at this symmetrical position, just take a little time to feel the stretch through both legs, to allow your torso to relax, to shift your body weight a little bit from toes to heels, any little fine tuning that you might need to do. And of course, the opportunity to reconnect to an elongated breath in and out. As you take your next breath in, come up onto your fingertips and raise your torso halfway. You're going to turn your right toes out. You're going to bend your right knee. Now, block under the hands or hands to the top of your right thigh are totally, totally fine here. So do what feels best in this particular phase of your practice, whether that's thinking in terms of this 1 hour practice or the phase of your lifelong practice, whichever one is most sustainable. And then gradually turn back to the top of your mat. You are going to step your right leg back and up where it started in downward facing dog, but just take a little time to turn the hip open, to bend your knee, to move that right leg around in space. Stretch it out, lift, and finally release both feet down to the floor. Take a deep inhale, exhale it out, and then lower down onto your knees. Press back into child's pose. Extend your hands forward, rest your head down. And if your head does not feel restful on the mat, you can always grab your block, or you can prop your head onto your hands or forearms. Slow and steady rhythm of breath. And then gradually make your way back up to your tabletop position. From tabletop, we're going to take our right leg back behind us just to reach out at hip height, straight back through that right foot. And then lower your right toes down to your mat. From here, we're going to move to barred gate pose. So the left foot's going to come open and out a little bit. Your right hand's going to come up high toward the ceiling. Now, if you want to start to challenge your balance a little bit and raise the right leg once again to hip height, you're certainly welcome to. If you'd like to move on into a quad stretch, you'll bend your knee and take hold of your foot. Don't lose your breath in the process. Ease any tension that might build in the jaws, between the teeth. And then release. Everything rolls back to tabletop at center, and then downward facing dog. Center first. Take a big, deep breath. And then inhale your left leg up and back. Good. And just have that conversation with your body again. So reach, stretch, breathe. Spread wide through the hands. Deepen your breathing. And then take one more inhale. Exhale, step forward between your hands. Get that foot up, get the back foot anchored, and then take both hands overhead. And then just take quite a few moments to really come into this shape. Take another inhale. As you exhale, you're just gonna hinge forward about halfway. Give yourself the opportunity to feel your back foot a little bit more firmly to the mat. Relax your hands, relax the arms, maybe shake the hands out, shake off any debris. And then just take your hands back out and wide so that you can reach through the fingertips. You can broaden the collarbones. Feel the effort through the legs, the integrity through your low belly. And then right hand comes down to your mat. You'll come on to the ball of your back foot, pull it back a little bit, nice and long in your lunge. Left hand hugs down, breathing. Gorgeous. One more inhale. Exhale, the left hand comes down. Our back knee comes down, half splits. Work it on back, grab one of those blocks. Yes, nice. And just take notice of the obvious and the not so obvious sensations of your body here. And then shift forward. You're going to come back through lunge, tuck the back toes, turn sideways on your mat. Make any adjustments that you need to in your wide leg stretch. Soften into it for a few moments. Good. Take a little redistribution of your body weight from toes to heels, side to side. Maybe even a wag of your tail, right and left. A roll of your shoulders, nod and shake of your head. And then find that still point within this shape to really be present. Good. And then on your next inhale, come to that half lift. You're going to turn your left toes out. And again, you can have your hands down at the floor or on a block, or you can actually take them up to your thigh and do that skandasana side lunge. So I want you to find the place that feels right. You can even do a hybrid of sorts where you have one hand to the floor block, one hand to your thigh. Take a few breaths. Good. Left knee's bent for most of us, I think, unless you did that side to start with. My apologies for confusing y'all. And then you're just going to turn in that direction. And you're going to step back to your downward facing dog so that you can lift your left leg and kind of land where you began. But open the hip, bend your knee, just kind of loosen up a little bit. And then bring it on back down to downward dog at center. We'll ease our way down onto our knees. And I want to give you the choice this time, whether you'd like to come into child's pose or whether you'd like to sit back into a kneeling seat. And these are two options that I offer quite often for you to decide. What is it that you need at this point in your practice? And again, maybe we look at the microcosm, we look at this practice, this one yoga class, or maybe we take in the macrocosm. And in either place, just take a couple more breaths. Make your way to your hands on your knees from there, and we'll extend the left leg straight back behind us at hip height. Feel both palms of your hands anchored, and then you'll just lightly touch your left toes down, tuck the toes under. You're going to take your right foot, your right shin out of the diagonal, so that as you shift the barred gate pose, you feel a little bit more balanced. Yes, nice. You can stretch that left arm alongside the ear. You can keep the hand high to the sky. You can start to challenge your balance. Lift your left leg. Bend your knee. Take a quad stretch if you want to make that addition. Just don't sacrifice your breathing. Nothing is worth that. Release. When you're ready, come all the way back to center. Nice and slow. Lift to downward facing dog. And just feel your feet. Perhaps stretch the heels a little more actively down and back toward your mat behind you. And then raise the heels high, lift up to the balls of your feet, look forward, and then travel your feet toward your hands. Coming to a half lift, fingers to shins or floor, your preference. Take an inhale and then empty your breath out as you fold into Uttanasana. Stand tall, stretch your arms high overhead, raise up, breathe in. Gather that energy between the palms of the hands, bring them down to the heart, close your eyes, and just slow your breathing as you stand. So notice the pace of breath that you have right here in this moment. And then rather than forcing a slower, deeper breath upon yourself, I want you to feel that breath, match it, and then begin the process of slowing down. And feel your feet. Feel your feet draw in fairly close to one another. Keep your eyes closed just for a few more moments, standing on this more narrow base of support. Reach up through the crown of your head, lift your chest, draw in and back through your low belly, and then relax your hands down near your sides. Take one very deep, broadening breath, exhale it all the way out. Open your eyes, and then sit down and back into your chair pose. So I want you to find the depth of your chair first to begin. Really shift the body weight back, reach high through the hands. Again, finding that sustainable placement through the curvature of your spine. Now press down through your feet and lift up ever so slightly. We're going to take the hands to heart, take the body weight over into your right foot, get lighter on the left, cross your ankle and open your hip. Figure forward in your chair position. Now start to ease the hips down and back into that full depth once again. Moving the hands from heart to hips. Draw your hips back a little bit more. Level the hips with the help of the hands. And see if you could hold your hips steady, hold your legs steady, lift your heart, lift your gaze. Yeah, good. Come all the way up. Release your foot down, feet just join together, march your legs out. Keep your hands on your hips for a moment. Broaden the chest, anchor into the feet, close your eyes, lift your heart, deep clearing breath. But slow your breathing down, acknowledging, matching your breath, and then just a gentle invitation to bring a little more air in and send a little more air slowly out. Relax your hands down at your sides. Open your eyes, sit down and back into your chair. We'll approach this the same way. So you're going to find that full depth of your chair. You're going to find that sustainable curvature of your spine. Shift your body weight back a little bit. Take an inhale and then just rise slightly up. Shift your body weight into your left foot, cross your right ankle and open the hip. Hands come to heart. Hips move back in space a little further. Get deep once again. So there's a tendency here for our chest to come forward. Hands are going to move to the hips. Your gaze is most likely somewhere on the floor out in front of you. You're going to level your hips. You're going to keep them in place. You're going to lift your heart, lift your gaze. Breathe. Rise. Release your foot. Bring it out wide this time. Keep your hands to your hips. Give your hips a little shake back and forth, a little shimmy, little roll, little circle. Big, deep breath in. Exhale it out. One more of those. And let me just start to match that breath and slow it down. Relax your hands down, open your eyes, take a deep inhale, hands go high overhead. We're gonna go out, down, and back behind the hips, interlace your hands. Root down through the feet, rise up through the chest, and then come forward into your stretch. The interlace of your hands is certainly optional. You can stack the hands at the sacrum, at the back of your hips instead. Take a nice loose grip of one wrist into the other hand. You can work to straighten your legs a little bit more, or you can keep that generous bend to your knees to focus more on the opening through the chest and shoulders. One more breath. Release your hands all the way down to the floor in front of your feet. You're going to take a little lift, and then you're going to adjust to Malasana. Start to lower your hips down, lift your heart, elbows come to inner thighs. Press your hands together, lift up. Good, breathe. Do what is right for your body in this moment. Perfect. And just check in. Check in with where your headspace is right now. What kind of talk, what kind of chatter is going through your mind? Release your hands to the ground, lift your hips, and we will meet back in a high plank pose from there. So take your time to step your feet back, to choose to have your knees lifted or to choose to have your knees lowered. Wherever you've chosen to be, just broaden the collarbones. Set your sights intentionally out in front of you. Take one more inhalation. Then exhale your way down through Chaturanga. Cobra or upward dog. Breathe in. Make your way to down dog on a breath out for you. Push away from the floor through your hands, lift high through your hips, nourish your legs again if you need to. Have that conversation with your body. All right, take a lift of your right leg on a breath in. Step forward between your hands, this time for high lunge. So setting your feet to that hip distance apart for balance sake. Take your hands high overhead. We're going to interlace the hands, bring our hands down as a hand hat. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. A hand hat on top of your head. So narrow your elbows just a little bit for the comfort of your shoulders. And take an inhale and slowly raise your hands high overhead. As you exhale, just unlace your fingers. Breathe in. With your breath out, you're going to bring your hands straight out in front of you. Good. And then from there, you're going to go wide through your arms, hinge forward through the torso just a little bit. Take your arms out to a T. Press the hands back, interlace them behind your hips. You got this. Bend the back knee and start to move into that upright position again, stacking your shoulders over your hips, working within the breath. Unlace your hands. Lift high through your fingertips. Take an inhale and then hands to heart. Warrior 3. You got this. Lift off. Leverage with the flight of your back leg. Now make the transition to a single leg stance at the top of your mat. You're going to just bring that left knee through, lift it up, stay calm, collected, keep your composure. Take an in breath, and with your exhale, just extend straight forward through your left foot. Pick it out with your heart high. Then release your foot down to the floor. Base of your thumbs come up to your forehead. Take a breath. Hands go high overhead. Deep inhale. And then fold forward. Breathe out. Halfway lift. Breathe in. Exhale all of your breath out as you bring your hands to the top of your mat. Step back into high plank. So again, choosing to keep the knees lifted or choosing to lower the knees. Take a few more breaths. Make that conscious choice to take up your pen, to write your own story. With your next exhale, lower down through Chaturanga. Inhale through Bhujangasana, Cobra, or Urdhva Mukha. And then back to down dog. Spend a little time breathing, getting your bearings. Clearing out any debris. And then when you're ready, left leg up and back, forward between your hands, or high lunge. Excellent. Raise your arms up high, lift up, interlace your hands, put your hand hats onto your head, narrow the elbows just a little bit, feel buoyant, feel strong. Inhale, hands raise high, unlace the hands on your exhale, breathe in here, breathe out, lower your hands to shoulder height. Take a strong breath in as you stretch your arms out wide, bring your heart forward, and then press your hands back behind you, interlace them. Bend the back knee in this transition to bring your torso upright once again. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Release your hands. Raise the arms overhead. Inhale, hands to heart. Shift your body weight and take flight. Into Warrior 3. Let it be as messy as you need it to be. Celebrate even that. I'll tell you what, I'm getting a lot better at being happy in a messy environment. Transition to a single leg stance. Focus your gaze, draw the knee forward, lift the knee high, take a breath in, extend straight out in front of you through the foot, and then straight down to the floor. Close your eyes, base of your thumbs, migrate up to the third eye space with your forehead. Just breathe. Stand strong into your legs, lift high. Let your heart beat just as it is. And then slowly raise your arms up overhead. Take a deep inhale and then drift the arms out, down, and near your sides as you exhale. Just be here. Just breathe here. Wiggle your toes. Unclench your jaw. If you are in the tribe that I am, and you tend to take all your tension into the temple and jaw. And then open your eyes. Okay, we're gonna do a fun little exercise here. So balance exercise. I think Paul did this with me on Tuesday. That's right, he's staying alive. So we're gonna do tree pose, but we're gonna challenge the brain. We're gonna do the anti-Alzheimer's stuff where you're balancing physically, but then you're having to coordinate some movement on top of it. So I want you to bring your feet in close, just kind of preparing for tree pose. And knowing that we're going to do an extra challenging thing today, I want you to really set your sights, your drishti out in front of you. Bring your hands into heart, kind of hug into midline right from the get-go. You're going to take your body weight into your right foot. You're going to get lighter on the left. You're going to slide that foot up to your tree shape, whether that's your calf or your inner thigh. And do try to choose the shape that you would usually take. And then to that, we're gonna just slowly start to bring the hands up overhead. Find your breathing. Find your drishti. Good. Widen your arms out wide. Good. Left hand is gonna come down to your hip. Just kind of stabilize at your hip. Now you're doing a little John Travolta with your right. Staying alive. Down and up. Down and up. So there's this funky thing about crossing the midline with this coordinated action that works with our right and left hemispheres. Yeah. Now, just check in. Oh, did I hold my breath that whole time? Oh, maybe I should breathe. There you go. And then eventually hands go high. We retrace our steps, hands to heart, and foot to the floor. Close your eyes. Shake it out. Doing the etch-a-sketch as needed. Slow that shimmy, that shake down. Nourish your ankles, offloading from side to side. Give them a little circle, a little turn. Let yourself be kind of noodly here for a moment. Like cooked noodles, not dry noodles. Let yourself be cooked noodles for a second. And then just kind of meet me back at midline. So work your feet back in. Maybe keep the eyes closed for just a moment longer as you find your height. Bring your hands together. Take a breath. Open your eyes and intentionally commit your drishti to one spot as you start to move to your second side. So our right foot's now going to come into tree. Take your time to get fully integrated. Hands go high overhead. Move them out wide. Your right hand is just going to come to your tree hip. And then you're going to John Travolta. Arm only, because if you get too much into those disco hips, you're for sure going to have a little bit of failure there. That's the problem, Carol. I saw those disco hips going crazy. Nice. All right. When you're done, reach up, hands to heart, foot to floor, noodle it. Canoodle it. Don't canoodle it. I think that's inappropriate. I don't know. Just shake it out. Beautiful. Raise up and down on your toes a few times. And then when you're ready, take a deep breath in. Let's come into a forward fold. Exhale all of your breath out. Find a half lift as you draw your breath in. Exhale and anchor the hands to the floor. You can move back through a connecting vinyasa here if you'd like to. We're going to meet in downward dog. So if you would like to just make your way right in that direction, you're welcome to do so. All right, right leg through to pigeon pose. So we've got all the things today to make this comfortable and sustainable. So I highly encourage you to utilize them. So I'll just show you an example of kind of setting that up with the props. Blanket is going to go under your right sitting bone and right thigh. Block or blocks can go up ahead of you so that you can actually come onto your forearms and then work a little bit with shifting that energy, that body weight kind of back through your extended leg behind you. Nice thing about this is as the body releases, you can play a little bit with that line of stretch by adding just a little bit of gentle rotation. You can, of course, add a quad stretch to this too. So I'll just show you that one on the forearm today. Blocks will be under that right forearm, and then you can reach back to take hold of your left foot if you'd like to. Just make sure your blocks are stable. Last thing you need is domino effect under the arm. And I encourage you to eventually close your eyes to really tailor this to your body. And then gradually, we will make our way to the other side. So if you're taking the option of being on your back, you can simply stay there and switch sides. If you are taking pigeon pose, you can move on up into downward dog, you can rotate the hip open, flip your dog, anything you need to do before shifting into the left leg. And again, take the time to set your props up today so that you feel really supported. And just know thyself. Sometimes the props can feel a little bit agitating. Can feel like one extra step. So that's totally up to you. Add what you need, leave the rest. Again, playing with that angle, that line, or adding a quad stretch today. And then when you are ready, untangle, lift. If you happen to be on your back, just stay right where you are at. We will eventually join you. So just decompress your leg, find downward dog for a breath or two at center, and then we're going to transition right into a seat and eventually onto your back. So just take your time to roll down. And when you land, appreciate that innate wisdom that your body does have, that you have. We spend a lot of our lives questioning this. So sometimes it can feel less and less natural, that intuition. Just take a few moments to really cultivate that. And then eventually you can rest the soles of your feet onto your mat with your knees bent. Take your arms either to a cactus position or overhead a little bit more so that you have a nice, light, loose grip of one wrist into the other hand. And then work your feet out a little wider. You're gonna tip both knees over to the right, over to the left. And then bring your knees back through center. You're gonna lift the knees straight up over the hips. You're gonna lift your shins to a parallel point above the floor and just feel your abdominal muscles engage as your arms are still kind of in that cactus or in that overhead position. Now simply extend your feet straight up toward the ceiling, straighten your legs, anchor your tail. And then one arm at a time, take them to lay down at your sides. So just resting your arms near your torso, palms of the hands down toward the floor, legs still very active, very strong, pressing straight up. Relax the shoulders as much as you can, and then rebend your knees. Feel that release of sorts, that lightening of the load, the effort, as the shins come parallel with the floor once again. Now just a little abdominal crunches here. So what I want you to do is to tap your heels down toward the floor and then take the knees back over the hips and maybe toward the abdomen as you do a little crunch and pick the back of your hips up away from the floor. So just moving the legs through that range of motion, making it as slow as controlled as you can. A little reverse abdominal crunch. Just tapping, angle of the bend in the knees stays about the same. Feel that press of your breath out as you find that final muscular contraction of the crunch. And then eventually lower the feet down to rest at the floor, pull the heels in close to the backs of your hips, lift the heart and lift your hips up to bridge pose. Take a little side to side movement to shimmy your shoulders in beneath you. And then you decide how you would like to place your hands. Sometimes it's a nice starting place to create fists and press the pinky side of your hand down toward the earth as though you're holding candlesticks upright in your hands. And then start to work into either a clasp of your hands or a roll open of the palms of your hands toward the ceiling. Then find your breath again. Ask yourself if you lift it up a little bit beyond what is nourishing, what is helpful for your body. And maybe back off of it just a touch. Or maybe lift a little bit more, knowing that you held back. One more breath. Release all the way down. Slide your shoulders out from beneath you. Just stay right there on your back and breathe. And then all that I ask is that you find any final movements that you need from your practice. That might mean that you're going to move into a happy baby or a shoulder stand. It might mean that you're needing another spinal twist to close your practice. Maybe you simply need a full body stretch before releasing into the comfort of your Shavasana. Again, keeping in mind that you have these props if they're available to you and you want to take them in for a little support. You can always drape the blanket across the hips or take it underneath the head. A block beneath the head can sometimes feel nice, or blocks beneath the back of your calves. See if you could continually step into the stillness. As you begin to deepen your breathing, just guide your attention, your awareness back into your more immediate surroundings. The here and the now, that which is immediately available to your senses. Drink it in. Drink in the here and the now. And start to reawaken your body with a little movement, only at the pace that you're ready to do so. Make a gentle transition from here to your seat. And once you do make your way to an upright seat, take a few moments just to center, to lift, to breathe. And we'll take just one more gentle stretch for our neck and shoulders. So tilting your left ear over toward your left shoulder, you're going to reach your right hand down, out, and away from your body. Take a little turn down of your chin slightly toward your chest. And then you'll sweep the right hand back toward the sacrum, just bringing the hand in around behind you. And then unbind your hand, lift your way up. You're going to place your left hand down to the floor and reach the right arm straight up as you come into a very gentle side body stretch. Come back through center, and then just move into your other side as you're ready. Maybe a little roll of the shoulders between, and then right ear to right shoulder. Press out and away through the left hand, and then sweep it in and around behind you. Little down turn of your chin. Breathe. And then you can unbind the hand, move into a side body stretch. So lift and liberate the left arm that was in behind you. Take it overhead. And then come all the way back to center. A little roll the shoulders. And finally, Anjali Mudra, base of your thumbs near the breastbone. Take a couple of breaths. Let's close our practice with a chant of Om tonight. We've got a couple of new faces in class and a lot of OGs, a lot of original students in class tonight as well. So let's just join our voices, our vibrations. Feel free to join in or simply enjoy the vibration that surrounds you. Let's take a clearing breath first. Deep inhale. Exhale it out. Inhale to chant. Oh. Namaste. Thank you so very much for practicing with me tonight. Great to see you all here in studio and to see you all joining online. Have a good weekend. Thanks.